Greetings, fellow adventurers. I'm Max with Peak D&D.
And I'm Ben. Welcome to the Peak.
We're here in the Rocky Mountains helping you elevate your game in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons and possibly life.
In this episode of Peaked Interests, we're talking about the core classes in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons.
So, let's roll some initiative and get to it.
This is the first of 2 videos on the different character classes you can choose to play in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons.
That's right. Last time we talked to you about the 6 attributes and what they mean. If you'd like a refresher, you can check that out here.
Today, we're going to cover what Max and I think is the most important choice you'll make as a player. Your character's class.
When in doubt, pinkies out.
Do you want to be a book-smart wizard throwing spells? A barbarian built to brawl? A pious priest? A fancy bard? These are the things that we mean when we say class in Dungeons & Dragons.
Yeah, basically it's your job in the game and dictates what kind of actions you'll be taking on your turn.
And as this is part of our 101 series introducing new players to the game, we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of archetypes, multiclassing, or the specifics of how to build that tanky wizard
tank
of your dreams.
Now that we've taken a second to tell them what this video isn't, Ben, why don't you tell them what it is?
Today, we're going to introduce you to the 6 major attack action classes. Max and I went back and forth many times trying to figure out the best way to split up and categorize the 12 classes in the Players Handbook.
And really, it's a testament to Wizards of the Coast and how well they designed 5th edition that we had so much trouble figuring this out. It means they did a great job of giving players the ability to make most classes capable of most styles of play.
So we decided to split the classes up based on the action you're most likely going to take on your turn. Today's classes are what we've dubbed the attack action classes.
You may recall from our first video, What to Expect. As a player, you have the opportunity to do 3 different things on a normal turn. You get to move, take an action, and take a bonus action.
Yep, and for simplicity and sanity's sake, we're focusing on the classes who are most likely to use their action to attack. These would be your fighters, barbarians, paladins, monks, rangers, and rogues.
Yeah, you'll have to tune in to the next video for the other half dozen. 6 is plenty. Now, get a plate and some silverware and a big old stack of napkins and step on up.
Welcome to your attack action class buffet. I trust you've brought your appetite because today on the menu we have a build your own pasta bar, some steak and potatoes, chick parm, wings, and a build your own burrito bar, and some salad. First up, fighters. These are the build your own pasta bar of the attack action classes.
Everything from buttered noodles with salt and pepper, a personal favorite of mine from my picky eater days, all the way through a delightful gnocchi and a lamb bolognese. Fighter is a vast class.
Look, if fighting is the thing that you want to do best with your character, look no further.
It is in the actual name.
Fighters are automatically able to use all weapons and armor. They roll a d10 for their hit points each level, have the ability to do some minor healing from the get-go, and get to choose a fighting style that gives them a relevant bonus at first level.
Then, as they advance in level, they gain the ability to take an extra action on their turn, make multiple attacks, and eventually are able to re-roll a failed saving throw or 2. By 20th level, no class gets as many base attacks as a fighter.
It's like the fighting style you choose is your type of noodle, and then at 3rd level you get to sauce it up with whatever martial archetype sounds tastiest.
When it comes to variety, choice, and being really good at hitting stuff, it's tough to beat a fighter.
Now, maybe you're a bit of a messy eater, twirling the teensy noodles onto a fork and getting them to stay there so you can take a big bite makes you so angry! All you want to do is get the pasta to your mouth! Ah!
If that sounds like you, then perhaps a steak dinner is more your speed.
Barbarians are your meat and potatoes. Simple, straightforward, hearty, easy to eat. You don't need anything fancy, just a little salt and pepper.
Yeah, or if you feel like flipping tables, scaring the hell out of enemies, and taking an ungodly amount of punishment, look no further.
Barbarians have the highest possible hit points. They roll a d12, and they have the potential to do the most damage, especially on critical hits when they rage!
Oh, rage. Raging is the primary mechanic of Barbarians. It gives you advantage on strength checks and saves, lets you do extra damage on melee attacks, and makes it so you only take half damage from physical attacks.
There's also some pretty cool class features that play into the idea of the impulsiveness and brutality of Barbarians. They gain extra dice on critical hits and have advantage on dex saves, attacks, and initiative.
Now, they can't use all the weapons and armors that a fighter can, but if moving fast, going first, and having fun with your anger, and taking several hundred points of damage on the regular sounds like fun, hot damn can they get the job done.
You want to know what else gets the job done? Paladins. Not in the same way as a barbarian, of course. When it's a steak you want, ain't nothing gonna beat it. We all know that. But if you're in the mood for Italian and want something a little more than just noodles and sauce...
Sweet ginger! May I introduce you to Paladins, the chicken parmesan of the attack classes. There's a solid base of fighters' noodles happening, but a little something else going on too.
Paladins are fun. Just ask Tony.
Love me some gourd.
They get the same hit dice and access to weapons and armor as fighters do, but like the Blues Brothers, they're on a mission from God.
Yep, Paladins are your good old holy warrior, crusader, knight, and shining armor types. They've got access to some divine spells, the ability to heal, to smite evil, and to help their friends.
Friends,
let me tell you, Paladins are handy to have around. They eventually get so infused with their God and their Holy Spirit that it just leaks out of their hands. They can heal you with the very touch. You are healed.
A bonus to saving throws, and immunity to fear for you and all your homies within 10 feet, and being able to heal with your hands is not nothing. Plus, Paladins have a lot of fun things they can do with their bonus actions.
Bonus action economy isn't something we've touched on yet, but it is an important consideration. Some classes have more things they can do with their bonus actions than others, and Paladins are one of them. Many of their spells are bonus actions, which is worth noting.
Yeah, but fear not. If being this iconic, holier-than-thou warrior is something you're into, but you don't really feel like dealing with spells, Paladins have a neat feature that allows you to trade your spells in for more damage on your attacks.
Paladins take the noodles of fighters and add a little chicken on top. But as we all know, if it's the crisp, consecrated, sacred goodness of fried chicken you're after, you've got another option.
Wings! For those folks who want the spiritual goodness of fried chicken, but don't really want to be bogged down by deities or armor, and like to get their hands dirty, have you seen the monk?
Like Paladins, monks are holy warriors. Instead of armor, shields, and giant swords, monks are the masters of martial arts.
If you want to harness your chi and be some sort of ninja type, darting here and there around the battlefield, felling foes with fearsome feet and fists of fury, grab some napkins and a wet wipe.
Monks offer decent hit points, a D8, the most mobility, and a variety of different things to do via their key points. Making extra attacks each round is one of them. They don't do as much damage as the other classes we've talked about so far at first, but they do get there.
That's why they're wings. Their attacks are small, but you get a lot of them, and they can definitely take care of business if you get enough of them. Plus, you get your hands dirty.
While technically monks can use simple weapons and short swords, they're the only class whose hands and feet do 1d4 of damage and count as finesse weapons. This means that your dexterity score, not your strength, is what gives you bonuses to these types of attacks.
And that d4 of damage continues to improve as you gain levels, topping out at a d10. Plus, similar to the fried chicken that came before them, monks also have good options for how to use their bonus actions, namely, making more attacks.
You get all sorts of fun in-game powers as you gain levels too. You can snag enemy arrows out of the air, ease any falling damage you might take, stun your opponents, speak all languages, turn invisible, and even stop aging or needing to eat or drink.
Monks are kinda just cool. Most other classes in the game need a lot of stuff to be their best. Monks? Psh, not so much. There will likely be times you find yourselves in tight spots where monks really shine.
Like when your party gets captured or attends a formal event. Basically, anytime you find yourself separated from your nifty magical stuff, monks are awesome.
That man in the corner, who is he?
He's one of them rangers. Dangerous folk they are along in the wilds. What his right name is, I've never heard, but round here, he's known as Strider.
Oh, Rangers. Eagle Scouts of Dungeons & Dragons. Good in nature, good with animals, able to track things, hunt game, and keep you and your friends alive in the woods.
Like both Paladins and fighters before them, they've got good hit points with a D10, and also have a choice of fighting styles that correspond to making you better at shooting or stabbing things.
On top of that, they have access to some nature-related spells starting early on. Rangers also get to choose a specific type of enemy they excel at tracking and killing, and specific terrains that make it easier to do the tracking and killing.
If you thought Strider was cooler than Aragorn when he was in the shadows with his hood up and leading the hobbitses through the wilderness before he claimed his crown, then may I tempt you with a burrito.
Especially if you have your heart set on having some sort of animal friend come with you on your adventures. That's another benefit of the Burrito of the attack action classes. They've got an archetype that's built specifically for that.
Because of all their wilderness survival tools and general love of all things outdoors, we decided that Rangers were burritos. You can make them as bulky and filling as you like, full of meat and cheese, dealing damage, or something that sits a bit lighter, full of veggies and rice that scouts are made of. Either way, easy to make around a campfire.
Which brings us to, shout out Illinsworth, the last of the 6 classes we're covering today, Rogues. Damn, can they pack a punch.
Yeah, their sneak attack is no joke, but they also take a little more attention from you, the player, to really make them sing. Sneak attacks aren't necessarily difficult to pull off. All you need is to have advantage on your attack roll.
Or make sure you're attacking a creature that is already engaged with another enemy. It's actually because of this complementary qualification of sneak attacks that we thought rogues were like salad.
Usually best as a side dish or part of a meal, but can absolutely serve as a main course if push comes to shove.
They aren't naturally set up to do the heavy lifting of frontline combat. They're much better off to the sides, on high ground, or slinking around in the shadows.
Yeah, they're like snipers, incredibly powerful. Their sneak attack gets better as they level up to the point where they can do an additional 10d6 extra damage on an attack. But they're not built for just charging in.
To help them be sneaky, they get some additional things they can do with their bonus action. These involve getting away from enemies, hiding, and moving further. Depending on the archetype you choose, you can also build rogues to excel at all sorts of different things.
Now, one last point about sneak attacks. They only work with ranged or finesse weapons. This means you're going to probably want to make dexterity your best ability score, because that's the one that gives you bonuses to those 2 types of weapons.
And in that way, we've come full circle. Your roguish salad is similar to your fighter pasta, in that both can work really well with only 1 good ability score, and both are sometimes difficult to keep on your fork.
True. Strength for fighters, dexterity for rogues.
It breaks down like this. If you've already decided you want to be an attack action class, and you don't have a fully formed character concept in your mind that you're working toward, roll your scores, see what you get.
If you've only got 1 high number, consider some pasta or salad. If you've got 2, maybe some steak and potatoes or a burrito. And if you've got 3 or more, then some holy fried chicken might be the way to go.
Hey, thanks for sticking around and gorging yourself on our buffet today.
Hopefully we piqued your interests
And gave you something to think about to help you elevate your game.
Let us know in the comments below which dish is your favorite, or if you've got a different metaphor you like to use when explaining the classes.
And for more Peak D&D content, roll to hit that subscribe button, make sure to drop the warnings around the notification bell up top, and that way you won't be skipped and missed your turn.
And be sure to check back here for more Dungeons & Dragons content, and help the channel level up by giving us that big beast thumbs up and liking this video. Until then, keep on climbing, adventurers!
Catch you next time up here at the Peak.
It sound right, boy.